From My News 26 and CCTV, it's high school football, coming to you this season from schools throughout the region. This 26 Sports and CCTV high school football presentation is brought to you by Cadillac Casting Incorporated.
All right, welcome back everybody to the second half action here from Lake City, as the Lake City Trojans have a 28-0 lead over the Lakeview Wildcats. First time ever meeting between these two teams, and we looked back, I think, 60 years in the record books all the way to the 50s and didn't see one time that they met. So this is pretty cool that they're meeting for the first time.
Yeah, it's always fun to play a new team. You know, you don't hear the same names, you don't see the same faces, and, you know, two different offenses.
Yeah, and right off the bat, Devin Davis for Lake City takes the kickoff and is all the way up to the 40. There's a flag. I don't know if it's a late hit, but the guy never touched him.
So the tackle there was made by number 23, Austin Hinojosa.
Good job on that. Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, a hold.
Yep.
A hold on Lake City. Okay, because I didn't think it was a late hit there. So that'll march him back 10 yards.
It's gonna, spot foul. So they'll be back inside the 20-yard line.
Is that how they do it?
Yep, from the spot of the infraction. So there he'll march off 10 yards.
That's, quite a change in field position from the 40 back inside the 20.
Yeah, you know, you sometimes see those long runs, and then way back at the line of scrimmage there's a penalty, and it's like a 90-yard penalty.
Yeah,
but
and you know it's...
So here they go, and we'll see if Lakeview made any adjustments. Looks like Lake City is actually coming out in their same offensive set.
Matt Holt will hold on to it up the middle with some good speed. He's got a first down and more. Taking tacklers all the way up to the 40. We could have a face mask there right at the end.
Yeah, number 22, Bailey Harris made the tackle. It was a quarterback draw, straight design keep, where he just caught it and followed his blockers up. And, you know, those guys are pretty big up front.
And it is a face mask against Lakeview, so that'll tack on. What do you think here? It depends on if it's a grabbing or a... Probably a 5-yarder, probably just, they gave a 5 yards. So that helps a little bit with the getting back the original field position just to the 44-yard line.
You know, and Lake City has one of those offenses where, you know, if I'm Lakeview, I'm still kind of worried with one safety back there.
There's a fake handoff, pass down to Ben Marion. Nice stiff arm there, and he goes out of bounds. First down. Just a strong play there by Ben Marion.
And Ben's not the biggest guy out there, but he's a strong runner. He keeps his feet moving after the catch, and good hands.
Yeah, I just love that stiff arm there on the tackler, would-be tackler. It's pretty cool here too with that Lake City with the fire trucks and the ambulances over there, Jason. You know, whenever their touchdown is scored, they got that going. Just adds to the, you know, the aura here in Lake City. What a good thing they've got going. Handoff is going to go to Greenfield. Greenfield has got some room on the left side, cuts back, and he's got a first down all the way down to the 25-yard line. Greenfield is, great runner this game.
Tackles made there by Jackson Larson. And Lakeview's DBs and safeties are having to make a lot of tackles, and unfortunately they're not getting much pressure up front because their offensive line for Lake City is doing a great job. Yeah,
big gaping holes a lot of times. Greenfield is, I mean, he's already got a lot of speed, and they're giving him at least 5 yards before he even has to look at a tackler.
Yep, and you know, if you're Lake City here, you don't want to get too crazy with the play calling, but it opens it up a little bit. Looks like a reverse here.
Yeah, a little reverse to Devin Davis, and he is taken down hard by number 44. That's
44, that's number, yeah. And like I just said, don't get too crazy with the play calling, right? They do an inside handoff reverse, but you know, and the thing is with your Lake City here,
you're trying some different plays.
And you're in control of the game. It's a non-conference game. It's a great game to get kids in, to get some confidence, because you know later on in the season, if one of your starters goes down, you want to have a player that can step in and play a position.
Yep. All right, we've got first down. Holt keeping the ball, and he still gets away. Boy, very shifty. Breaks it out to the outside. He's down to the 5, the 4. Touchdown!
there was
Man,
there was a design quarterback draw again, and he made 80% of that yardage on his own there.
That was a scintillating run there by Holt as he shook a couple tacklers early on. He has got some speed on him too, Jason.
He does, and he actually had somebody on his back a little bit and just pulled right away from him.
Oh man, just blew away from him. And looks like Devin Davis here will try the point after. It is 34-0, and the kick is up, and it is good, and it is now 35-0. The Trojans with the lead.
So what they'll do now is there'll be a running clock in the second half once they're up 35-0, and I believe, and I could be wrong on this, but the clock will stop on timeouts, interceptions, penalties, and scores.
Okay.
So with them up 35-0, once it's in play here, it'll be a running clock. So if you hear fans yelling, stop the clock, that's just the rule that they're saying.
Okay. That makes sense in the second half then. And as soon as Lakeview scores, brings it back under that 35, then it goes back to a stop clock, right?
I'm not so sure on that. It almost has to come back down to a certain one, and then it's not a straight.
Oh, it's not like hockey when you score a goal and under 8, then it instantly goes to a stop clock.
I almost think it's got to go to like 4:21 or I don't know.
Right.
Somebody sitting behind a desk thought this will be good to make a rule, so they put, I don't know. They change it every year, and they make the coaches go to all the rule meetings and tell them what they've been doing for the last 6 months.
Walker Herrick, he drilled that one all the way back to the 2-yard line. Taking it is Addison Mitchell. Mitchell still on his feet, tried to break it out wide, but a good tackle by number. Trying to see if that was.
I thought it was number 12, maybe.
That's Shively. 12 is Josh Shively.
Well, he might have been just, one of those guys that kind of comes in at the end and look at my number, I'm going to make the tackle.
So that decent run back.
Yeah, that was one of the first times Lakeview caught the ball directly. And Lakeview special teams, they've had a couple good walls set up, but it's just a timing thing with catching that ball and going up the field that Lake City got down there.
We faked the blitz and we got movement.
Yeah. Looked like Lakeview talked about that at halftime and said, hey, they're timing up our snap count, so the first one we're going to go on 2, and they get 5 free yards out of it. So good call by Coach Reinhardt there.
Yeah, that's good discipline there by the offensive line from Lakeview. Hogla is split wide out to the left and out to the right. Can't read the number. Here's a quick pitch on the left side to Bailey Harris. Harris gets some good yardage, and he's got a first down. And they need to reestablish that a little bit. Just start moving the line of scrimmage.
Yep. And one thing Bailey Harris did there was he didn't try to bounce it outside. The last couple times he's tried to bounce it, he just read off the block of his outside tight end, it would be, and got what he could, which was a first down. And if you try to bounce that, unless you're Superman or really fast, you can't do it.
Addison Mitchell is met right there by Thomas Bloomberg, number 77. Almost knocked the numbers off his jersey.
There was a lot of red at the point of attack there, wasn't there?
Wow. And that hurts. I mean, it takes maybe a couple plays to shake that one off.
Yep. And, like we talked about in the beginning of the game, Lakeview doesn't have a ton of depth. There's only 9 subs over there.
Oh, yeah.
And
that has got to be wearing them down. Here's a handoff to Addison Mitchell. Mitchell sheds a couple tacklers and on his feet. Nice run there to get up to the 47. Really impressed with him.
He's a fast kid, and right from the get-go he had that big hit in the beginning. And Lakeview's linemen need to keep moving downfield. They kind of stand and watch and almost like, hey, Addison, let's cheering him on, but go block somebody.
Yeah, I do remember that hit. That was in the very first pass play, wasn't it?
First drive, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a completion, but he knocked it right out of him.
Right.
So it's going to be 3rd and about 4.5 for Lakeview. They're approaching midfield here.
The lights are on here. Just a spectacular evening for football. 26 Sports and CCTV. Jason Main and Bill Dooley bringing you the action from Lake City.
Pass
Fake,
here.
yeah, fake looking pass on the right side. He's got, an interception there. I think that's Devin Davis.
It is Devin Davis.
Wow, there was all red around that receiver.
And it looked like Jackson Larson was farther down here, maybe single coverage, and you want to take your shot with that rather than try to throw it into triple coverage.
So that's the third interception.
That is
for Lake City.
And the first 2 interceptions led to touchdowns. And
right.
Turnovers are big in high school. Turnovers are big in any level of football. And if you win the turnover battle, I think you win about 80% of your games.
Well, the clock is running. It is 35-0. Lake City with the lead here, and they're in command. Matt Holt looking deep down the field, and that one was read beautifully, and it's intercepted. Bailey Harris has it, and it was first hit by Hogel.
It was. We got a flag on the back here.
A flag. Maybe it could have been a holding or something on Lake City. We'll see.
It could have been. It was really late. He actually threw it after the play happened.
Could have been a late hit on Holt, too.
That was a bang-bang play, and I like it when they don't call that, because they both have a right to the ball. And
I thought the referees have done a really good job so far.
Looks like he's getting his hands ready for unsportsmanlike conduct or something, but
here comes the call.
Personal foul against Lakeview, so it was a late hit there.
Okay, boy, that'll take away the interception, right?
Unless it was after the interception. But I think that's what they were talking about here, and it looks like they're going to say it was during the. Yep, they're going to pick it up.
So
if it was after the actual interception, then it
would
be moving them back. It was before the interception, it'll be 1st and 10
for Lake City
after they have the penalty. So.
Yeah, Holt's coming back. Well, he plays defense too, but he's coming back on the field. So
they're gonna. I think they're gonna give the ball to Lake City. Personal foul and sportsmanlike conduct on Lakeview. It's going to be roughing the passer, I believe. And they're going to go back to the line of scrimmage and march off 15 yards, give the ball back to Lake City. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you've got me totally confused, and I understand it all.
Which, you know what, and I actually didn't see it, so that's the kind of the ref's judgment, but it was pretty close to the time when the interception happened.
Right.
But that's something they have to communicate on the field and talk to each other and make their best judgment.
Right.
So we're going to have Lake City have the ball here. The clock actually stopped because it was a penalty. And Lake City's going to have the ball at the 36-yard line. Clock stopped because it was a penalty. And they're still trying to sort it out here, but looks like they're rolling here. So they'll start the clock. Lake City still running the spread offense with a double slot look.
Noah Thome with a nice run on the left side. He's got some speed and more, and then he'll step out of bounds, but the clock's going to keep running.
He's going to keep running. He ran 23 yards, Bill, before he was touched.
Yeah.
And Lakeview gave up the edge pretty quick.
Well, what we talked about at the beginning of the game was the offensive line for Lake City coming back almost intact, and that was one of their strong points, and you can see it tonight big time.
And McBain will be a good game next week. McBain throws the ball a lot, so they're going to have to get some pressure on them. But they have a good starting lineman.
Okay, we got a handoff to David Greenfield. He's swarmed under there by the Wildcats on the right side. But just to mention some of our offensive linemen here for Lake City, we have Walker Herrick, number 50, Nate Knapp, 51, Andrew Brown, number 53, Damian Wurtenberger, number 60, Austin Potter, number 63, Colby Burns, 64, Skylar Miller, 67, Ethan Chandler, number 68, Jacob Rosecrans, 71. So just, they never get their name called that much. It's nice to acknowledge that offensive line.
And they actually are, I'll tell you after this play.
Tons of time. He's got a man wide open. Is that Ben Marion? It is. Marion is carrying half the team. There's a fumble.
Looks like he gave him the touchdown.
Touchdown, Ben Marion, unless he fumbled and it was recovered. See if maybe we can get a replay on this. We'll see. All right, we will try and get a replay. There's a player down also for Lake City, so that's not good as they tend to him. But
and those linemen you talk about, Bill, are not just any linemen. They are big and they actually move pretty well too.
Right. And our van, Jason, is seeing if they can queue up a replay of that. Taking a knee are the players, and here we go on there. Stepping back, look at the time in the pocket. So he's got Ben Marion right there.
Yeah, he catches it about the 7-yard line, and he goes through 3 or 4 defenders.
The ball is loose.
He did.
It was fumbled, and Devin Davis picked it up. Good job by Kaylee Buck to catch that on the replay.
So that changes our scoring here. It's going to be a fumble recovery by Devin Davis.
Fumble by Ben Marion, and then a recovery by Devin Davis for the touchdown. So
just like you drew it up.
Well, I saw the ball come loose, and then I wasn't sure if they gave him breaking the plane or the fumble, but.
That's nice to have some replay here, and
yes.
Looks like the injured player is.
We have a numbers at Devin Davis. Yeah, that's Devin Davis. He must have got hit or something.
I think actually he landed on the ball maybe.
Okay.
And
looks a little wobbly.
Yeah, he knocked the wind out of him, and because I don't think he got hit. He just you land on that ball and the wind knocks out of you and you feel like you're gonna die.
Yeah, he's being helped over to the sideline, so hopefully he feels good. This will give us a chance to do our sponsors here, Jason.
So our sponsors tonight, and we thank you all that do sponsor this. Some of them are new tonight, but we have a lot of them that do it every week. So our presenting sponsors: Cadillac Castings, Fox Motors of Cadillac, Cadillac Tire, LC Materials, Bowman and Rogers, Lake City Family Pharmacy, A-Tech Automotive, Ash's Coffee Shop, and Pizza Plus.
Yeah, once again, if you are out and about and you can personally say thank you to any of our sponsors, I'm sure they would appreciate it. Without them, obviously we're not going to bring you these games. Here's the point after.
Is that a new kicker then if Devin is not kicking?
Right, it's going to be 20 for Lake City. It might be Tyler McGinnis. Yeah, I think that was Tyler McGinnis, number 20.
All right, so number 20, Tyler McGinnis kicks the extra point in, which makes it 42-0. Lakeview is down to Lake City.
Tyler is a junior, wide receiver and defensive back, so good to see him get in on the action. And our score, 42-0, with 4:58 to go here in the third quarter. Once again, next Friday, we're going to be switching now to Friday football games on September 7th. We'll have McBain and Lake City. That'll be a Highland Conference showdown over in McBain. And I know myself will be there, and I still need to set up color for that game. And we have Walker Herrick getting ready for the kickoff.
McBain has 6 home games this year and only 3 away, so they got a good schedule.
Yeah, real good schedule for McBain. All right, big kick, and that one is going to sail into the end zone by Herrick, and it'll be a touchback.
So the rest of the schedule for Lake City is for Lake City is McBain, then they go to Manton, and then actually they're home against Manton, and then Beale City, Pine River, Everett, Kent City, and then Stanford Meridian Early College will end up their season. I've never heard of them. Have you, Bill?
Who?
Stanford Meridian Early College for the game 9.
Wow, I've heard of Stanford Meridian. That's but not Early College. So that's interesting. All right, Lakeview with minimal gain here from scrimmage. I think
looks
that
like
was
Addison Mitchell took the handoff. Yep, and he ran around the right side. Number 67, number 75 for Lake City were both there. So the clock continues to run, and we are at 4 minutes and 15 seconds right now with Lake City up 42-0 on Lakeview.
And once again, we want to remind everybody to go online and try and help us out with some DVD purchases. They're great, like we said, for birthdays and stocking stuffers, graduation gifts. Looking at pass, and that one is almost intercepted by Towinski, and he's already got one pick tonight.
Yeah, he does, and that would have been, if there hasn't been a nail in the coffin yet, that would have been it. That's sending the ambulance home.
Yeah, right. So that is an incomplete pass there. Nice read there by Towinski jumping that route.
It's a good time for Lake City and Lakeview, too, to get subs in. You know, you want to really develop everybody on your roster as much as you can, and nothing can compare to game-like situations. And there's kids on the sidelines that are going to be counted on as the year goes on.
In motion, and the handoff goes right there. Nice read, though, by the Trojan defense. And brought down on that. Was that Addison Mitchell again?
Number 10, yep, I believe
Mitchell
it was.
in motion.
So it looks like
they call that a jet sweep?
A jet sweep,
okay.
Yep.
All right.
And looks like Lakeview put a couple subs in. Got a new, it's actually the punt team, I'm sorry.
Harris back to punt for the Wildcats. Wow, tons of pressure. He's done a great job just getting rid of it. It's bouncing down to the 40-yard line where it'll be touched there.
And he's got some good ones off tonight, too.
Yeah.
He's got a good left-footed leg and gets a boom into it. So Lake City will take over. Clock continues to run, even though it's a change of possession with the running clock rule, I guess is the best thing to call it.
Yep. So Lakeview, like I said, first time meeting here, and boy, Lake City is, after last year going 12-1, they're looking for real here. I mean, you have to be impressed by both sides of the line, and one of the things you mentioned earlier, Jason, was the fact that they've got such a deep bench, and they can play just offense or defense. And certainly there's some kids out there that are playing both ways, but they have a lot of them that can just specialize.
Yeah, Noah Thome takes a handoff and goes around the left side there, and he's going to get 9 yards here. And last week against Harrison, Lake City score was 41-0, so they still haven't given up a touchdown.
Oh yeah.
All year.
Yeah. Wow. Defensively, you take pride in that too. Keeping that shutout streak going.
Yep. And you don't want to necessarily leave your starters in just to keep that, but but it's a prideful thing for everybody on the team, whether you're the third depth or fourth depth. It's important that you have that goal.
All right. Back to pass. Holt, he's going to air it out way downfield. There's some separation and a great catch down at the 10-yard line. Did you get a number on that?
Number 14.
Oh, Towinski.
No. Yeah.
Wow.
Jacob Volker was on the coverage there, and he kind of just went for the ball and realized he was too far underneath it. And
we could just see the separation there at the end.
Good catch, good throw. I don't know. I mean, it's 42-0, and kind of throwing the ball here, but you want to get get your plays and practice them, I guess, as the game progresses.
I guess that is their game, is passing. They almost use it as like a run. Here's a handoff to Thome on the left side. Lakeview will stop him with a little bit of a gain there.
Yep.
We want to let everybody know, too, that Jeff Castillo this year is doing the MESIC games, and that's 8-person football.
Yep. And they played Pickford last week, I think.
They played Pickford.
And that was on actually Friday of last week, I think, and that's on the My News 26 website.
Yeah.
I watched a little of it, which is a different game to watch. You can kind of see there's a couple less linemen, I think, and it seems to be more spread out when you take 6 guys off the field.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the third quarter. Lake City's come out, and they have scored a couple here.
All right.
To make it 42-0. Our sponsors tonight are Cadillac Castings, Fox Motors of Cadillac, Cadillac Tire, LC Materials, Bowman and Rogers, Lake City Family Pharmacy, A-Tech Automotive, Ashes Coffee Shop, and Pizza Plus.
All right, we will be right back with the fourth quarter action. You're watching high school football action on 26 Sports and CCTV.